video, you're going to learn all about how to integrate sensors into your code and use logic to make the most out of them. Compared to other menus, you'll notice the sensors actually have submenus. For now, let's start with the touch sensor. When I click on it, there's only one option for me, so I can click and bring that into my scene. But you'll notice this command, it has to be attached to something. In this case, a print command. If it isn't pressed, and I do save and then play, I get false down here in the debug console. Now if I press it, and now I click play, it tells me true. Now in addition to a sensor like this that has a simple true-false, some of the sensors will return an actual value for you, like the optical distance sensor. When I click play now, I get a number returned. This video doesn't go over what the different sensors do, but we have different documentation on that if you're looking to learn more about the individual sensors. Instead, now that we know how to insert a sensor, let's talk about logic and how we can use the values that we're getting from these sensors to create codes. Within the logic menu, we have a variety of really useful tools. And the one you'll use the most is this very top command that says if do. So I can simply bring this into my scene and set up conditional statements. So, for instance, if the touch sensor is pressed, print pressed. Now at this case, that works. I can click play, it'll tell me pressed, or it won't because it wasn't pressed that time. What if I wanted it to tell me what to do if it isn't pressed? I can add options to my if commands by clicking on the gear icon. When I click on that gear, I'll get another sub-menu here that allows me to add else ifs as well as else commands. And this is essentially to say, if this is true, do this. Otherwise, or else, do something else. So I'm going to drag the else onto this if, and when I do that, the rest of my code adapts. Click on the gear again to close the settings menu, and now I can tell my program what I want it to do if the sensor isn't pressed, for instance. Now let's take this one step further, just as a demonstration of how you can use these to create powerful codes. With this code, my robot will drive in a straight line until it hits something, therefore pressing the touch sensor, at which point it will stop. That shows you one of the ways you can use your sensor and your logic commands to create a program. But there's a lot more you can do with your logic commands, so let's dive a little bit deeper. These next two options are incredibly useful. For instance, you can set up conditionals. So do something if the reading from your sensor is equal to a certain value or less than, greater than, and so forth. All of those options are available in this drop-down menu here. So you can control what your robot's doing based on the readings you're getting. More than that, you can also create complex statements using the logic commands by adding in this compound statement. What this does is allow you to say, if this thing is true and this other thing is true, then do this. And you can either change this from an and or an or to create exactly the program you're looking for. So there you go. That is a good introduction, so you can now start integrating logic and sensors into the codes you build.